This video will be discussing story and gameplay of upcoming adventure map Between Aether and Sky, so please beware of spoilers. Today, we'll be looking at how to create floating islands like these ones. Seems only logical, as they are the foundation on which this map is built. Specifically, we'll be looking at the islands in the second level of Between Aether and Sky. This level is called the Skyport. We'll be skipping over the first level because it's rather small. However, I will catch you up on the story so far. So, there's this guy named Quinn. He's the player character, and he lives a quiet life on this farm. But then one day, a ship crashes into his farm, and in the ship is the other main character, Valerie. And she's like, yeah, I'm being attacked by these pirates. They just shot me out of the sky. I could really use any help I can get. And, well, Quinn, he's kind of bored with his life, you could say. So he's like, yeah, sure, I'll go along. So they repair Valerie's ship, and they go off to the Skyport, where the pirates are currently attacking. And that's where this level starts. The port connects the vast group of interconnected islands to a more open space, this world's equivalent of the sea. However, let's look at where the floating island aesthetic comes from. Yes, the floating islands. I guess the first inspiration for this aesthetic comes from the 2011 Minecraft adventure map named Kingdom of the Sky. It's by Blame Controller, and he used the floating islands. Then also, back in the days when I watched cartoons a lot, well, I still watch cartoons a lot, but there were two shows. One was called Skyland, and the other one is called Dragon Hunters. Both are originally of French origin for some reason, but they played on Nickelodeon in my country, and they took place in worlds with floating islands. And they look really good. The quality of the story in the show is questionable, but both look really good. And then also, before building anything in Minecraft, I always just do a Google image search on the subject, so I can get some inspiration from all over the place. When it comes to making floating islands, there are several approaches. Some are spiky at the bottom, some are rounded off. When it comes to choosing which one to use, perhaps we should look at what happens to their real-life upside-down cousins, mountains. In the lifespan of a mountain, it starts off rather pointy. This is logical, because two large tectonic plates just violently push each other upwards. Later in the mountain's lifespan, the sand particles in the wind have had a chance to shave off the mountain tops, rounding them off. Since the people in the Aether and Sky world seem pretty well adapted to their way of living, we could assume the islands must be rather old, so we'll make them round. I know in the Kingdom of the Sky map I mentioned before, there the islands are spiky, but honestly I just couldn't be bothered putting that much work in an area no one will actually ever look at. When trying to make floating islands, there are several ways we could go about this. You could do it block by block, or use the fill command and then explode off the corners. All possible, but there are better ways to go about this. Community members have made dedicated modifications for the game based on terrain editing, like VoxelBox Sniper or World Edit. I myself prefer the third-party program called MCedit. That is because mods always have to be updated whenever a new version of the game comes out. MCedit is robust. It does not really care what version you're in, it'll just plow through. So, let's get started on this island. First, close the world in Minecraft and open it in MCedit. Next, we select a big round brush and flatten it out by decreasing the height. By clicking the right mouse button, we can go into a camera mode where the brush tip is right in front of us, at a distance we can set with the mouse wheel. Let's navigate ourselves so that we have a top view. Next, it's as easy as drawing the shape of the island you want. The key is imperfection. Drawing the shape by hand, even if you just make a bigger circle, will give it sufficient randomness. Now fill in the shape. We just made the surface part of the island. For the body, we don't change the brush size or anything, we only rotate our view. Paint a curved path connecting the one side of the surface to the other. Now rotate your angle around the island and repeat that step till you get all the way around. Double check if you didn't miss any spots, There may be some rough edges, but we'll just have to fix those later by hand. The last thing to do is adding grass. Set the brush to topsoil, the name speaks for itself. Insert a depth, set the block type, and paint on the grass. I'll be making another island next to this one, using the same steps. In our reference pictures, we see some islands have multiple plateaus. We can just use the techniques we already know to create that look. Simply make two surfaces at different heights. Again, we fill in the body. This time, I'll be making it taller, as we also see in the reference pictures. Apply topsoil, and there we go. When we return to Minecraft, we still have some fixing up to do. Mostly removing single blocks and rounding out curves. We can use bone meal to add tall grass to our islands. And here's a quick tip. To remove the flowers that it puts in as a byproduct, put these two commands that you can find in the video description into repeating command blocks. They will remove all the flowers around you. The last thing I want to do in this video is showing an easy way to make these hanging bridges. You could try by hand, but if it doesn't have to be perfect, like for a background piece like this one, we can just use the brush tool again in MCedit. There is a button you can press to use the built-in line function with the brush. You can find this button in the controls menu. Reduce the size of the brush to a 1x1x1 and draw a straight line between the 2 points you want to connect with the hanging bridge. You might have to right-click first to change the camera operation mode. With this construction line in place, we can now size up the brush to about 5x1x5, and here comes the clever part. In this camera mode, the scroll wheel adjusts the distance to the block the mouse pointer has selected. With this and the line tool, we can connect some points under the construction line. The bridge we made will be too thick at the steeper points, but with some handwork and refining, you could turn this into a very good looking and easy bridge. You know, in the end of it all, I think the real reason I chose floating islands as the style for this map is because drop-offs into the void are just the easiest way to confine the player to the playing area while still maintaining a great view of the area. When trying to solve a problem, a good rule of thumb is to just take the easiest solution. You know, work smart, not hard. But what about the building style in this skyport? Why are the interviewee and the narrator the same person? And how do I build these spiraling windmills? Some of these questions will be answered in the next episode of the development of Between Aether and Sky, a Minecraft adventure map. Thanks for watching.